What is going on, guys? It's Matt back again with the Dev Tech channel. Man, it has been a crazy month. It's been a crazy November between friends getting married, Thanksgiving, starting a new job. It has been a pretty crazy time in my life. But I want to thank everybody who showed love on my very first video about the Plex Media server, getting all the likes, subscribing, and any of the shares that may have been distributed out. Today we're going to be starting the Windows 10 Beginner's Guide, and this is going to be more tailored towards the level 1 help desk role. This is going to be for somebody who maybe is studying for their A+ certificate or something like that. And I'm just going to go over the top 5 command lines for Windows that I wish I knew going into the help desk. And I just want to preface this that this is going to be command prompts. We'll be going through PowerShell in a different video. But anyway, let's get right into it. All right, everybody, here we are in our Windows 10 machine. I opened up command prompt as an administrator. If you want, you can just go ahead and search for it in the search bar. Or if you want to be fancy with it, you can hit the Windows key and hit the R key and just type CMD, and it'll open up perfectly fine. The reason why I wanted to run this as an admin is just so I don't want to run into any permissions issues. I am an admin on this box, and honestly, if you're opening up command prompts, you should probably be an admin on the box as well, either through, if this is all done in a home lab, please make sure you have admin rights to your machines, whether it's a VM or a standalone box. That would be bad. But if you're just starting out, the way that you configured if you're running it as an administrator or if you're running it as just a basic user is always going to be the path that command prompts opens to. So as of right now, we're open at System32 because I ran it as an administrator. If you just open it up as a basic user, what it's going to do is it's going to open up in your user folder. Now, typically that's not going to be a huge issue because a lot of these commands that I'm going to be showing you today are pretty easy and you can be a basic user to get the information for the most part. But just a couple cleanup things. Make sure that you always are an admin on the box if you're running command prompts so you don't run into permissions issues. And anyway, let's get right into it. So if you're studying for your A+, or maybe you just started schooling, this is always going to be one of the first command lines that they teach you for a command prompt. And it's a pretty universal command, and it's going to be ipconfig. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit enter. And what this is going to do is it's going to pick up any network adapter that is currently installed on my machine. So for example, I have my onboard NIC, and I also have my Hyper-V Ethernet NIC, and that's going to just be my virtual machine adapter because I have Hyper-V installed on this machine. But it's a very sleek, very easy to read. You can get the IPv4 address, you can get the subnet mask, and you can get the default gateway. Now, if this is set to DHCP, which this machine is not, you can just and if there's for some reason any issues with the internet, you can always try and troubleshoot and set it to a static. But the IPv4 address, or what's just the IP address, is really great for being able to directly get into a machine. Sometimes in Active Directory, there's a conflict in the name, or maybe DNS is messed up or something of that sort, and this just ensures that you can remote into the machine or PuTTY into it if it's a Linux machine, or SSH into it if it's a Linux machine or something like that, and be able to do whatever you need to do to troubleshoot and fix the call that you're doing. But a lot of the time, what they don't teach you is they don't teach you the very basic command line argument of ipconfig /all. So what I'm going to do is just hit next. And what this is going to do is it's going to do the exact same thing. It's just going to give you a lot more information. Like, for example, I have my host name here. This is nice if you want to troubleshoot any DNS issues. If you're a part of a domain, or if you have, let's say you're working in a business where you have multiple businesses that you are supporting, make sure you have the correct DNS suffixes, all that fun stuff. But if we go down here, we have our IPv4 address, our subnet, and our default gateway, like we did with just the basic IP, or the basic ipconfig command. And the reason why I like ipconfig /all so much is because of the physical address portion. So physical address is also known as a MAC address. That's more commonly what you're gonna hear from, either from a security engineer, a sysadmin, a network engineer, something like that, in case they need to either put something in a DMZ, or if they want to whitelist something on a security application and they just want that device. So 9 times out of 10, they're going to use either the MAC address or the physical address for it. So that is just the address defining the physical machine every time that powers up. So yeah, so that's ipconfig. Alrighty, the next command line that we're going to be going over is another super simple one, but it's invaluable. I use it every day, and it's just a very easy command, and it's going to be your ping command. So I'm not going to type in an IP address or a host name yet, but what we're going to do is we're just going to hit ping, and it's going to give you a list of all of the things that you can do with ping. So these are all the command line arguments, and it tells you exactly what it can do. So the one that I want to highlight here is the -t argument. And this is really nice if you're changing IP addresses from DHCP to static, or if you're trying to just talk to something over the course of X amount of time. So what we can do is you can either type in a host name of a machine, or you can type in the IP address. I'm going to type in an IP address, and we're going to do, so that's our IP address, and we're going to do space -t. So what that's going to do is it's going to basically send packets to that machine and say, hey, I'm trying to talk to you. Are you alive? And so these replies that we're getting means that machine is turned on, is accessible to the network. Usually that means that the firewall is either configured and or turned off so that you can be able to talk to these machines. But what's really nice about the -t argument is that this will go indefinitely. So what this is going to do is that it's not going to stop. Usually by default, if you just did a ping and then the machine name or the IP address, it would give you 4 responses and or 4 non-responses, more or less. And then it would say, okay, well, we don't have, we received 4 packets from whatever your IP address is, or we didn't receive 4 packets. So this is really nice if you have to do any sort of reboots. You can see when a machine's back on. If you're talking to an end user and you say, hey, can you reboot the machine? What this is going to do is it'll keep getting replies back, and then once the machine's off, it'll say it can't do it, but it's going to keep trying. And so once that machine's back on, you can continue with your troubleshooting or whatever you're trying to do. So what we're going to do is we're just going to hit Control-C just to get out of it, and you can see the ping statistics, depending on how long you have this going for. I already sent 78 in probably the minute that I've been talking about this. So yeah, so that's the ping command with the -t argument, and we'll just get right into the next one. All right, everybody. So the next command that we're going to be going over is something also very simple. They don't necessarily always teach it to you in the A+ and or any sort of schooling for that matter, at least not in the education that I received, which isn't really too much. But what it's going to be is it's going to be systeminfo, all one word. So we're going to just go ahead and hit OK. And what it's going to do is it's going to query for basically anything and everything in my machine. So what it's going to do is it's going to give you the host name. It's going to tell you the type of operating system that is currently running on that machine, the build number for that operating system. For example, this machine is running Windows 10 21H1. It'll tell you the manufacturer of it, which is going to be Microsoft if you're using this type of command line. It'll tell you the primary signee of the machine. It'll also tell you the system manufacturer, the model, the last boot time, what processor is installed, how much RAM is installed on the machine. It'll even tell you what patches are installed on this machine, and it'll tell you if the machine is either getting an IP address through DHCP or if it's statically assigned. So this is great if you want to do it quick and dirty. I typically always use PowerShell for this kind of thing if I'm doing anything for reporting, or if I have anything in SCCM that needs to be queried. I just go through SQL with SCCM and PowerShell. But I still do use the systeminfo command as well if I'm going to use psexec to get into a machine on the network or on the domain. And it's quick, it's easy, it's simple, and it's pretty easy to use for troubleshooting. Like, for example, if you have a RAM stick that bonked out on you and you're supposed to have 32 gigs of RAM, but now you don't have true dual channel anymore, under the assumption that you have it set to dual channel. But what's really cool with systeminfo, and you can do something similar with the command line arguments that I showed you earlier, is if you want to just get the operating build number, or the operating system build number, for example, you can actually refine it. So what we're going to do is we're going to type systeminfo, and then we're going to do a break, and we're going to do find string /i quotes host OS. And what it's going to do is it's going to give us a much slimmed down version of what this is. So yeah, you'll still get the host name, you'll still get the type of operating system, whether it be Windows 7, 10, and now 11, and it'll give you the OS version, which is going to be the build number, and in this case, it's going to be 21H1 as well. So system info, it's great, it's easy, it's kind of dirty, but I still love it, and I still use it from time to time. But like I said, that this is typically something that I would use PowerShell for, and or SQL if I'm trying to figure out anything with operating system builds or operating systems or hardware components as well. So anyway, let's get right into the next command. All right, everybody, let's get into command number 4, which again, it's another super simple one, but definitely helpful. I know I keep saying that it's simple, but then again, I've been doing this for 7 years. Regardless, let's get right into it. I'm going to cheat a little bit and kind of use both these. I'm going to show you 2 commands. Both of them are within the same realm. So the first one I'm going to show you is tasklist. So what this is going to do is it's going to show you every process that is currently running on the machine. This is more or less, well, it's exactly command line task manager. So this is great if you want just an easy text dump of what processes are running on the machine. Let's say you run into something where you need to write a script that task kills a process. You know, if you're working in a corporate office and you're supporting somebody and you need to uninstall Chrome, for example, what you want to do is you can't just uninstall Chrome while it's running. So if somebody forgets that Chrome is running, you want to task kill it and then do whatever your script is running, right? So this will just give you the exact host. It'll actually give you the PID ID, which is going to be very important for the inverse of task list, which is going to be task kill. And I don't want to kill anything, so I'm just going to do a /?. And what this is going to do is it's going to give me the exact examples of what you can do with task kill. So you can do task kill and then the argument /im and then the executable. I like doing it by the PID number, just to make sure that you're getting the correct process, because a process can be held, can have the same name multiple times over depending on how many instances of that task is running. So for example, if I had 8 command prompts open, I want to make sure that the one that is running now is the one being killed. So yeah, that's task kill and task list. We'll get right into the last command. Command number 5, everybody. So this is going to be the last command that we go over in command prompt for right now, for the first episode of the Windows 10 Beginner's Guide to Command Line. These are just the top 5, like I said. But anyway, I think this one is very underrated, and this is definitely something that I wish that I had, mainly because it takes reading from text files very well. And if you have to do something quick and dirty, or maybe you don't have a enterprise application like SCCM, or if you're not familiar with PDQ deploy or anything like that, this is a very quick and dirty way of copying files from your machine or a machine in general over to a remote system. And that is going to be xcopy. So I didn't put in any parameters after that. I didn't give it any locations. So it's obviously going to say 0 files copied. But an example of what you can do with this is you can enhance this script, where if you have a computer list, for example. So what we would do is, let's say we have our text document in system32. So what we would do is type 4, do a space, do a capital F. I'm going to do a %A, do a space, in, and we'll do computer list.text because I don't know what else. Do xcopy, and then we're going to do a parentheses. We're going to do C, script dot bat, and then close those quotations. then hit another space, open up another pair of quotations, and we're gonna do backslash %A C with a money sign, because that's gonna be the admin share to the local root. And we're gonna do Windows and then System 32. So, and then close that, and I would hit enter, and it can't find computer list because I didn't put computer list.txt in the System 32 folder. But this is great because if you ever need to put an installer over on a machine real quick, or even on a list of machines, you would just create a text document, place it in System 32 or wherever you want to change your directory to in command line, and you would go from there. So there are other ways of doing this. You can either physically do it through a UI, through admin share, and make it, and do a right-click copy and a right-click paste. I like doing it this way because it will read from a text file, and it's just super simple and super easy once you start getting around it. If you want to know what type of arguments you can do for xcopy, and you can do the same thing with all of these commands that I just showed you today, is type the command and then do a space / and then a question mark, and it'll give you all of the command line arguments that you would need. So this is great. Yeah, let's get right into the outro of this video. Okay, I lied. I'm going to give you guys one more little freebie, and it's not even really a command, but you are going to type it in command prompt, so it's technically a command, I suppose. But what we're going to, you typed in all of these commands. You have all of this data. Let's say you're running on one command line. You're just running off of one command prompt window. So what we want to do is I want to go back to, and we'll scroll all the way down to where I'm at. So let's say you want to clean up the workspace, and you don't want to have all of the stuff, or maybe you have it too cluttered and you can't figure out what command you ran, and you need the type of information. So before you run another command, what you can do is clean this all up with the line C as in Charlie, L as in Lima, S as in Sierra. Hit enter, and now I'm hitting this, the scroll wheel on my mouse, and we have nothing else. This is equivalent to clear in PowerShell, and I use it just to keep neat and tidy. So just a little freebie for you guys. Now we'll definitely get into the outro of this video. All right, everybody, and those are the top 5 command lines in Windows 10 that will also work in Windows 7 to a degree that I wish I knew going into the level 1 help desk role. Obviously, you have to tailor the script in whichever reason you need to, or for whatever purpose you're trying to do. If you're trying to query Active Directory, if you're trying to query SCCM, or if you're trying to pull something from DHCP, the scripts are going to be a little bit different, but these are some bare bones basic stuff that definitely helps in troubleshooting and first call, getting to first call resolution. But I want to thank everybody for watching the video. If you liked the video, please go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you subscribe if you're new. Hit that notification bell over here somewhere. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.